it's not always the right time. You could have a great idea, but it might not be the right time. You could have the great time, you might not have the right idea because you haven't tried, you haven't iterated enough. I mean, wanted to do consulting, right? Fitness consulting. Okay, that worked, but there was a big vulnerability that lost me clients at the end of the day. Then wanted to run in just a rev share model, doing true capacity stuff. Cool. There's a big vulnerability that leaves me in an interesting position with trainers. There's an opportunity for me to, force supply scheduling and make it super simplistic. But a big problem with doing that I've only found from breaking it is that I don't have the ability to individualize pricing for the trainers that are in different locales at different gyms that have different expenses. I can only have, through the way that I'm doing it, the same base prices and then add-ons, but they have to be aware of how to use it the same that I do to communicate to their clients because I'm not talking to their clients. So it's interesting. I would have never figured out either of those two things. That one, I could have one calendar or a set of calendars that fed in the same place that auto split payments. I use something called Gusto, payroll. Won't be using Gusto anymore. We'll be just auto splitting payments from Stripe Connect instead. But it's interesting. Didn't know that I even needed to do that until I started doing it in the way that I thought would be the most feasible to start.
But that's what you did. And I think the power of your particular situation with True Capacity is going from the idea, which obviously you had that idea after doing several other things actually in fitness, over the last year and a half, 24 months. And, it was, all right, let me put my foot, let me put my toe, but you were trying things. You were out there doing very basic things that in a lot of ways often gets overlooked that can hurt the overall viability of a product. The things that people like to fucking spout out, but it's like all these things you spout out only matter if you actually get to the application phase. And so you were able to ultimately arrive at a place where you had the idea for True Capacity and could then go from basically nothing set up for it to being set up to onboarding trainers within 30 days because you just moved. You didn't sit and spend 2 weeks trying to figure out who was the best payment provider. You didn't spend 3 weeks trying to figure out what's the best scheduling app. Like, sure, maybe that could have had you skip right to the best option. But then it's like, every time you add another layer of resistance and just that perfectionism, it keeps you in theory land. And it's like theory land should be the place you go to get some good intel. You talk to the experts there, and then you bring it right back to Zion, and you're like, all right, we're going to actually do this shit now. And then if you have a problem, well, fuck, let's go back to theory land. Let's talk to our consultants there, see what they got to say about it after we bring them back this new data, which allows them to update their expertise in theory land. And it's like this feedback loop that only works. It's only a half turn of the dial if you don't ever take it to the application phase. And the application phase should really be 80% of that whole rotation, not theory land. So, yeah, man, do some shit. Fuck something up, make some money, spend some money, help some people, piss some people off. Like, just all that shit's better than goddamn theory this, theory that, maybe one day, if this maybe sort of kind of, hopefully.